A time to be alive. So many things are going on in Russia right now. I'm not sure Russia knows how to handle it. This has been day number 3 of Ukraine's invasion of Russia. And we've seen so much destruction, even in just the past 24 hours. I do not know how Russia is going to respond or recover. So let's go ahead and back up. If you don't follow me on TikTok, last night, every single hour, we were uploading a brand new video because it was almost breaking news every single step of the way. To start off the night, in Kursk, Ukrainians are continuing to push forward. We know that they have at least 100 prisoners of war. It could be even more, but that wasn't even the crazy thing. You see, Russia said they were going to bring so many reinforcements to the area to control the situation, even though, if you remember, 2 days prior to that, they said the situation was under control. Well, there was a column, a massive convoy of Russian vehicles. We're talking about every kind of vehicle, and these vehicles were supposedly filled with people. Ukraine figured out where this convoy was going to be, and at least the Russians are saying Ukraine had used HIMARS and destroyed every single vehicle. Now, here's the thing. We really only get certain videos and information from the Russians. The Russians were the ones who said that the convoy was destroyed. The Russian military bloggers are the ones who came out and said it was destroyed. And that is interesting. If we go through the Kyiv Post article, it says Russian military bloggers blame incompetence for Ukrainian HIMARS strike that destroyed Russian battalion. So they themselves are saying it's destroyed. A battalion has a decent amount of vehicles in it. And let's say, for example, there was at least 16, 17 vehicles, okay? Those vehicles, depending on what they are, could have anywhere from 5 to 7 people. So let's just say 16 times 5. That's 80 people. If those vehicles were full. 80 people. And then we know others were injured. I've seen some reports that stated as many as 500 Russian troops were injured or taken out during that attack and several others. Now, I think the number might be a little high. I think it might be closer to 250. But just think about that there. That many vehicles destroyed. The kicker, there was a Russian reporter later on in the day, today, that was live from outside of Kursk. And he's standing there, and behind him are trains of Russian vehicles, military vehicles, making their way to the front lines. You just help Ukraine out, because now they know where they're coming from, and since they're on a train, they can't use them, so Ukraine could just get an FPV drone, figure out where it is, shut down the train, and then just cherry pick all of the equipment. This is what I'm saying. Russia is panicking. They don't know what to do in this circumstance. They're trying to figure out how to get things there, because now the war has gotten to Russian land. Russia has no air defense systems there, which led to last night's major attack. You see, while for the most part, Ukraine had stayed in Kursk, they now made their way to the next state over, which is Lipetsk. That state houses one of Russia's major air bases. It's one of the air bases where they keep the Su-34s, Su-35s, MiG-31s. They launch them from there. They bring it close to Ukraine. They launch their stuff. They come back. And they also have a training center there. Well, Ukraine, knowing that Russia has no air defenses, and they're so unprepared for them to be inside of Russia, sent, we don't know the exact number. Russia said 75, and they were all destroyed. Last night, Ukraine was able to destroy 700 bombs at that airbase. There was a massive ammunition airbase / depot, which were kind of separated. The airbase was on one side, and the depot was on the other. Ukraine destroyed every single square inch of that facility. And Russians could say it didn't happen, even though there was tons of videos and photos and 400 houses were evacuated. But then, during the daytime, we had satellite imagery up above looking down where you could see the before photo and then the after photo. This, my friend, is pure destruction. All 700 bombs completely destroyed. Thank goodness. You know how many lives, how many Ukrainian lives have now been saved because Russia doesn't have those bombs? Now, I will say this. We don't know how many Russian aircraft were damaged during that attack. There were some videos put online that in the background from the air, you can hear Russian aircraft take off. You can hear aircraft gearing up and it sounds like they were just going one after another. It's highly unlikely they were able to get all of those aircraft off. So it is still possible, though not confirmed, that Ukraine, besides taking out that ammo depot, they also took out some kind of aircraft, which would be a plus. It's one thing because you could have the aircraft and no ammunition. But if you could take out the aircraft and the ammunition, then by all means, go right ahead. I think that would be a win-win for everyone. While all this is going on, there are other things taking place in, say, Crimea, where supposedly last night Ukraine had taken everything from naval drones to aerial drones to even, I heard, Neptunes were thrown around to attack certain things. And we haven't really gotten much information about that because everything going on in Kursk, there's just so much and too many news stories all at once. So we don't really know what's going on there, but we also know that 3 days prior, there was a massive operation that took place that no one's talking about. This operation involved, ultimately, it's just in the Mykolaiv region, it's next to Kherson Oblast in a way. But if you follow it down, it goes into Crimea. And according to Ukrainian SBU, who released it on Wednesday, it's kind of been under the radar, a special group of special forces went in and destroyed dozens of Russians, their vehicles and buildings. They supposedly came over in 4 high-speed boats, a couple jet skis. They brought drones with them. They took out these positions by flying the drones into certain vehicles and buildings. And we're even finding out that just 3 days prior, another group went even more south. I think it was 30 kilometers even more south and did the same thing. Which means it almost looks like Ukraine is starting their invasion of taking back Crimea and also doing stuff up there. There is just so much going on. I mean, we even found out today that Ukraine destroyed another Russian military helicopter, an attack helicopter, with another drone. They did exactly the same thing they did before. They got behind the helicopter. They went for the back rotor. They took it out. The helicopter spun the way down and then crashed. And it's news stories like this. There is just so many things going on all at once. And ultimately, I don't think Russia knows how to handle this. This could be the beginning of the end of what Russia is doing. Because now Russia has to move forces from the front lines because Ukrainians are taking them out. They're taking them out in Russia. Russia's calling for a state of emergencies. They're bringing in different kind of concrete shelters for people. They were not ready for this. They moved all of their resources into Ukraine, and they cannot protect their own land. It's almost like if Ukraine really wants to, they can kind of go south and cut off the Russians who are in Ukraine and starve them out. Maybe that's their plan. Or maybe they are going to the nuclear plant so they can get to the Kursk nuclear plant. They can get inside and they say, hey, you have our Zaporizhia one. Give us that back. We'll give this back to you. We took this land. If you give us this land back, we'll give that back to you. It could be a part of an exchange. All we know is Zelensky and Syrtsky, they know exactly what they're doing. And this has been probably the most eventful past 3 days we've seen so far. And remember that Russia wanted to take Kyiv in 3 days. Look how much Ukraine did in 3 days. Russia is not going to be able to recover from this. and I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the next few days. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on TikTok. We're currently having a lot of issues with our YouTube channel. They are claiming that we're taking other people's content and not using it properly, even though, as you can tell from our videos, we interject things that have been online and give you commentary, which is allowed to have, which we're allowed to do. And we're doing it with certain contracts with certain people. And so we're currently fighting with them, fighting with YouTube while on YouTube. But I'm trying to keep these videos up for you. So I really do appreciate you guys if you follow me here. If you're on TikTok, please subscribe to our channel, or you can even subscribe to our subscription service, which is like $3 a month, a cup of coffee for me, until we can get this channel finally back on track. But once again, thank you for joining me, and please stay safe.